Wisdom, chapter 5. Then the upright will stand up boldly to face those who had oppressed him, and had thought so little of his sufferings. And seeing him, they will be seized with terrible fear, amazed that he should have been so unexpectedly saved. Stricken with remorse, they will say to one another with groans and labouring breath, "This is the one whom we used to mock, making him the butt of our insults, fools that we were. His life we regarded as madness, his ending as without honour. How has he come to be counted as one of the children of God, and to have his lot among the holy ones? Clearly we have strayed from the way of truth. The light of justice has not shone for us, the sun has not risen for us. We have left no path of lawlessness or ruin unexplored. We have crossed deserts where there was no track, but the way of the Lord is one we have never known. What good has arrogance been to us? What has been the purpose of our riches and boastfulness? All those things that have passed like a shadow, passed like a fleeting rumour, like a ship that cuts through heaving waves, leaving no trace to show where it has passed, no wake from its keel in the waves, or like a bird flying through the air, leaving no proof of its passing. It whips the light air with a stroke of its pinions, tears it apart in its whirring rush, drives its way onward with sweeping wing, and afterwards no sign is seen of its passage. Or like a bow, an arrow shot at a mark, the pierced air closing so quickly on itself, there is no knowing which way the arrow has passed. So with us, scarcely born, we disappear, of virtue not a trace have we to show. We have spent ourselves in our own wickedness. For the hope of the godless is like a chaff carried on the wind, like fine spray driven by the storm. It disperses like smoke before the wind, goes away like the memory of a one-day guest. But the upright live forever. Their recompense is with the Lord, and the Most High takes care of them. So they will receive the glorious crown and the diadem of beauty from the Lord's hand, for he will shelter them with his right hand, and with his arm he will shield them. For armour he will take his jealous love. He will arm creation to punish his enemies. He will put on justice as a breastplate, and for helmet wear his forthright judgment. He will take up invincible holiness for shield. Of his pitiless wrath he will forge a sword, and the universe will march with him to fight the reckless. Bolts truly aimed, the shafts of lightning will leap, and from the clouds, as from a full-drawn bow, fly to their mark. And the catapult will hurl hailstones charged with fury. The waters of the sea will rage against them, the rivers engulf them without pity. A mighty gale will rise against them, and winnow them like a hurricane. Thus wickedness will lay the whole earth waste, and evil-doing bring down the thrones of the mighty. Wisdom, chapter 6. Listen then, kings, and understand, rulers of the remotest lands, take warning. Hear this, you who govern great populations, taking pride in your hosts of subject nations. For sovereignty is given to you by the Lord, and the power by the Most High, who will himself probe your acts and scrutinize your intentions. If therefore as servants of his kingdom you have not ruled justly, nor observed the law, nor followed the will of God, he will fall on you swiftly and terribly. On the highly placed a ruthless judgment falls. The lowly are pardoned out of pity, but the mighty will be mightily tormented. For the Lord of all does not cower before anyone. He does not stand in awe of greatness, since he himself has made small and great, and provides for all alike. But a searching trial awaits those who wield power. So monarchs, my words are meant for you, so that you may learn wisdom and not fall into error. For those who in holiness observe holy things will be adjudged holy, and accepting instruction from them will find their defence in them. Set your heart, therefore, on what I have to say. Listen with a will, and you will be instructed. Wisdom is brilliant. She never fades, but those who love her she is readily seen. By those who seek her she is readily found. She anticipates those who desire her by making herself known first. Whoever gets up early to seek her will have no trouble, but will find her sitting at the door. Meditating on her is understanding in its perfect form, and anyone keeping awake from her will soon be free from care. For she herself searches everywhere for those who are worthy of her, benevolently appearing to them on their ways, anticipating their every thought. For wisdom begins with the sincere desire for instruction. Care for instruction means loving her. Loving her means keeping her laws. Attention to her laws guarantees incorruptibility, and incorruptibility brings us near to God. The desire for wisdom thus leads to sovereignty. If then thrones and sceptres delight you, monarchs of the nations, honour wisdom, so that you may reign forever. What wisdom is and how she was born, I shall now explain. I shall hide no mysteries from you, but shall follow her steps from the outset of her origin, setting out what we know of her in full light, without departing from the truth. Blighting envy is no companion for me, for envy has nothing in common with wisdom. In the greatest number of the wise lies the world's salvation. In a sagacious king the stability of people. Learn, therefore, from my words. The gain will be yours. Wisdom, Chapter 7. I too am mortal, like everyone else, a descendant of the first man formed from the earth. I was modelled in flesh inside a mother's womb, where for 10 months in blood I acquired substance, the result of virile seed and pleasure, sleep's companion. I too, when I was born, drew in the common air. I fell on the same ground that bears us all, and crying was the first sound I made, like everyone else. I was nurtured in swaddling clothes with every care. No king has known any other beginning of existence, for there is only one way into life, and one way out of it. And so I prayed, and understanding was given me. I entreated, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. I esteemed her more than sceptres and thrones. Compared with her, I held riches as nothing. I reckoned no precious stone to be her equal, for compared with her, all gold is a pinch of sand, and beside her, silver ranks as mud. I loved her more than health or beauty, preferred her to the light, since her radiance never sleeps. In her company, all good things come to me, and her hands incalculable wealth. All these delighted me, since wisdom brings them, though I did not realize that she was their mother. What I learned diligently, I shall pass on liberally. I shall not conceal how rich she is. For she is to human beings an inexhaustible treasure, and those who acquire this win God's friendship, commended to him by the gifts of his instruction. May God grant me to speak as he would wish and conceive thoughts worthy of the gifts I have received, since he is both guide to wisdom and director of sages. For we are in his hands, yes, ourselves and our sayings and all intellectual and practical knowledge. He it was who gave me sure knowledge of what exists, to understand the structure of the world and the action of the elements, the beginning, end, and middle of times, the alteration of the solstices and the succession of the seasons, the cycles of the year and the position of the stars, the natures of animals and the instincts of wild beasts, the powers of spirits and human mental processes, the varieties of plants and the medical properties of roots. And now I understand everything, hidden or visible, for wisdom, the designer of all things, has instructed me. For within her is a spirit intelligent, holy, unique, manifold, subtle, mobile, incisive, unsullied, lucid, invulnerable, benevolent, shrewd, irresistible, beneficent, friendly to human beings, steadfast, dependable, unperturbed, almighty, all-surveying, penetrating all intelligent, pure and most subtle spirits. For wisdom is quicker to move than any motion. She is so pure. She pervades and permeates all things. She is a breath of the power of God, pure emanation of the glory of the Almighty. So nothing impure can find its way into her. For she is a reflection of the eternal light, untarnished mirror of God's active power, and image of his goodness. Although she is alone, she can do everything, herself unchanging. She renews the world, and generation after generation, passing into holy souls, she makes them into gods, friends, and prophets. For God loves only those who dwell with wisdom. She is indeed more splendid than the sun. She outshines all the constellations. Compared with light, she takes first place. For light must yield to night, but against wisdom evil cannot prevail. Wisdom, Chapter 8. Strongly she reaches from one end of the world to the other, and she governs the whole world for its good. Wisdom I loved and searched for from my youth. I resolved to have her as my bride. I fell in love with her beauty. She enhances her noble birth by sharing God's life, for the Master of all has always loved her. Indeed, she shares the secrets of God's knowledge, and she chooses what he will do. If in this life wealth is a desirable possession, what is more wealthy than wisdom, whose work is everywhere? Or if it be the intellect that is at work, who, more than she, designs whatever exists? Or if it be uprightness you love, why, virtues are the fruit of her labours, since it is she who teaches temperance and prudence, justice and fortitude. Nothing in life is more useful for human beings. Or if you are eager for wide experiences, she knows the past, she forecasts the future. She knows how to turn maxims and solve riddles. She has foreknowledge of signs and wonders, and of the unfolding of the ages and the times. I, therefore, determined to take her to share my life, knowing that she would be my counsellor in prosperity and comfort me in cares and sorrow. Thanks to her, I shall be admired by the masses and honoured, though young, by the elders. I shall be reckoned shrewd as a judge, and the great will be amazed at me. They will wait on my silences and pay attention when I speak. If I speak at some length, they will lay their hand on their lips. By means of her immortality will be mine. I shall leave an everlasting memory to my successors. I shall govern peoples, and nations will be subject to me. At the sound of my name, fearsome despots will be afraid. I shall show myself kind to the people and valiant in battle. When I go home, I shall take my ease with her, for nothing is bitter in her company. When life is shared with her, there is no pain. nothing but pleasure and joy. Having meditated on all this, and having come to the conclusion that immortality resides in kinship with wisdom, noble contentment in her friendship, inexhaustible riches in her activities, understanding in cultivating her society, and renown in conversing with her, I went all ways seeking how to get her. I was a boy of happy disposition. I had received a good soul as my lot, or rather, being good, I had entered an undefiled body. But realizing that I could never possess wisdom unless God gave her to me, a sign of intelligence in itself, to know in whose gift she lay, I prayed to the Lord and entreated him with all my heart. I said, Wisdom, chapter 9. God of our ancestors, Lord of mercy, who by your word have made the universe, and in your wisdom have fitted human beings to rule the creatures that you have made, to govern the world in holiness and saving justice, and in honesty of soul to dispense fair judgment. Grant me wisdom, consort of your throne, and do not reject me from the number of your children. For I am your servant, son of your serving maid, a feeble man with little time to live, with small understanding and justice of the laws. Indeed, were anyone perfect among the sons of men, if he lacked the wisdom that comes from you, he would still count for nothing. You have chosen me to be the king over your people, to be judge of sons and daughters. You have bidden me build a temple on your holy mountain, and an altar in the city where you have pitched your tent, a copy of the holy tent which you prepared at the beginning. With you is wisdom. She knows your works, she who was present when you made the world. She understands what is pleasing in your eyes and what agrees with your commandments. Dispatch her from the holy heavens. Send her forth from your throne of glory to help me and to toil with me and to teach me what is pleasing to you. Since she knows and understands everything, she will guide me prudently in my actions and will protect me with her glory. Then all I will do, I will be acceptable. I shall govern your people justly and be worthy of my Father's throne. What human being indeed can know the intentions of God? And who can comprehend the will of the Lord? For the reasonings of mortals is inadequate, our attitudes of mind unstable. For a perishable body presses down the soul, and this tent of clay weighs down the mind with its many cares. It is hard enough for us to work out what is on earth, laborious to know what lies within our reach. Who then can discover what is in heaven? And who could ever have known your will, had you not given wisdom and sent your Holy Spirit from above? Thus have the paths of those on earth been straightened, and people have been bought what pleases you, and have been saved by wisdom.